Afternoon from Northern Ontario again. My name's Dave. This is McCarroll Siding, my N-scale layout world. And today we're going to paint track. Well, we're actually going to do two things. We're going to do two things. Let me reach over here. Wrong one. Of course, wrong one. So, first I'm going to give you a shot of the yard. Everything is glued down. No pins anymore holding track down. I've been working on it pretty steady for the last couple of days here, and so we're ready. One of the nice things about Copydex is that once you've laid your track, if you want to lift it, you just have to slide a spatula underneath it. Where are we? Spatula underneath it. And it lifts very, very easily. So, and the reason for that was, and I'll switch over now to camera 2, is because of this building. I sort of knew it was going to happen. I didn't have the building built, so I laid the track, and you can see there's Copydex here, and then the track is over here. Well, when I put the building where I originally glued the building, or the track, there wasn't any room for the building. So I just had to put that metal scraper underneath the track, and it lifted really well. So that's one of the benefits of Copydex. You can see my railroad crane sitting over there on the maintenance and way tracks. Just wanted to put something a little in so you could see that. So the first thing we're going to do today, first we're going to get rid of the building, because we don't really need it, and I still have to finish it off a bit and then weather it. Now, yesterday I spent 2 hours. Okay, you see this? Is that in focus? Okay, anyway, I took all of the pieces of tie that were cut away from track, and I took a scalpel and I cleaned off all of the little nubs, and then I sanded them. And today what we're going to do is we are going to first glue a couple of these in place, and then I'm going to paint the track. So I have a little bottle of Eileen's tacky glue, and I'm just going to put a dab of glue between the tracks here. Oh, and it does come out. Oh, and it comes out nice and slow and easy. Good. And then I'm going to take a set of ties, and I'm going to slide them underneath to fill that gap. So I'm only going to do sort of this section here. I'm not going to do it all because it's a repetitive process again, like most things on the railroad. So again, I'm just going to snip off a couple of ties and some glue. I really like this new little applicator I got. I saw it somewhere. Where did I see it? Oh, there's a British channel where he does all his buildings in paper, which I find amazing, and his results are astounding. I think it's called Chandwell. Anyway, he uses exactly these little bottles with the very, very fine tip, and boy, does it ever work a cat's ass. It's really good. So I'm just going to keep going here. I know it's not thrilling, and I know that it's going to be time consuming for me in the long run, but okay, slide in there, come on, slide in there. Good stuff. And Snip up another pair. Now the only track that isn't glued down here is at the far end of the yard, because that's where 2 new buildings are going to go, and I want to build them, because the track, move you out of the way, the track goes right inside the buildings. And I knew this was going to happen, and I happen to have my fancy dancy tweezers. So, take the tweezers out here, put that there, put this out of the way so I don't lose it. And I'm just gonna get those so they look right. Okay, and now another 2 over here. Touch of glue. I've been doing this all day. You know that, putting stuff down and not remember where it went. And again, we'll just take the tweezers. This is working pretty good because you really can't tell. So I'm just going to do 2 more here and here, and then we'll start painting. So like I said, I've got a whole container full of these little track pieces. And like I said, I think I watched ATEM Savage's live stream yesterday and did this. You can almost do it in your sleep, it's so easy. Anyway, doesn't matter. And here we go here with some glue. Boy, I should order a couple more of these models. Boy, that's a really good setup. Okay, oops, what am I? Oh, I'm catching on the tweezers themselves. These are. There we go. Good stuff. And let's do 1 more. And we'll get on with the painting. Now I've got two compressors, big ones. That's a like 15-gallon jobby, which at the moment needs to have some oil put in it because it's not running properly. And then I have a smaller one that I sometimes use for airbrushing, but I've got to show you what I use for airbrushing most of the time. And where did I put the glue? Put the glue there. Yeah, underneath. Oops. But I find with both of those air compressors, they got big hoses and everything, and you got the hose that you got to work around, and it's just a nuisance for me sometimes. So on Amazon, they sell this, and it's an airbrush with its own compressor built into the handle that you hold it, and this makes doing stuff like this in here easy, because you don't have to worry about hoses, you don't have to worry about other stuff. You can just go ahead and just get a piece of paper here. All right, so I have got lots of different colors, but I think I'm going to go with I've got Mission Models Airbrush Permanent Water-Based Paint. Works on plastic, resin, and metal. It's called Rail Tie Brown, and that's what I'm going to use. So I'm just going to shake this thing up and load it in the airbrush, and we'll see what we get. Now, I've got some isopropyl alcohol here, and what I'm going to do is if this is too thick, I'm gonna, oh, it's got a paper cap inside. Never used this paint yet, so. Okay, there we go. Ooh, interesting color. So, it is a grimy brown, that's for sure. So, open this up, and let's see what we can do here. Oh, I will put some IPA in there. Now, I hadn't considered that, so now let me just see if I've got something close to hand that I can use. I've got a little stick here. I'm gonna have to I'm just mixing the IPA and the paint together. Seems to have made a thick fucking mess. Excuse my language, sorry. Let's find out whether it works or not. And it does. Okay, here we go. So I'm just gonna you don't want to put down a heavy coat. So you can see it is. Now the one thing you got to be careful with when you're painting track is that you don't paint. I'm just going to see if you can. My finger's not there. Where can I show you? Over here. Okay. That in the points, the switches, whatever you call them, you want to make sure that you don't paint. In fact, I'm going to not bother to paint the area of the switch where the actual switching takes place. Because if you do, you're probably going to do away with the connectivity of the electrical. So I'm just going to go to there and stop. Here. Now this little airbrush, I think, was under $100 Canadian on Amazon. And you can see how it does make it a little easier because okay. Now I'm going to have to get up on my bench here because I need to spray from the other side of this track, and I can't do that standing on the floor here. But you can see how that makes a huge difference. And I'm keeping it about 2 centimeters, about an inch away from the track itself. I'm just going to bring over my bench and climb up. And look at this. Now obviously after you finish painting, you're going to have to come back and clean the top of your track, because you are putting a layer right on top of the rail, and that's going to affect the electrical contact. Go here. Okay, I think I mean, like I said, this is pretty repetitive, and there's no need for me to show you everything that I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more section here, one more length of track, and we'll stop. Then I'll spend the rest of the afternoon painting. Alright, I think I might have to clean the brush. Hold on. Piece right up here. Oh, I guess that was a mistake. Okay, let me see. I thought I had. I do have. Okay. Go back and just use this straight. I thought the IPA would thin it, but the IPA has just made it a thick mess. Let's see. No. You know what? I'm going to have to go clean the airbrush, so we're going to stop right here. Lesson learned. Don't put IPA in with this paint. I should have used water. So what I plan to do next week is to connect up this section with the end of the yard, and at the other end of the yard also put the leads out, so that we only have along the back of the layout, we have an area that has no track at all right now. But once that track is in, there'll be a loop. I will then wire up the track itself, and we may actually have running trains maybe by the end of September. Again, I don't make any promises because life can get in the way, and therefore you don't always get done what you want to get done. So that's it for today. I want to thank you for watching. I know this hasn't been very long, but I don't want to bore you guys with a looking at things over and over and over again. So be good to yourself, be good to your family, take care, and I will see you next week, where hopefully by then I'll have the yard painted and we will be laying more track. I've got a lot of work to do in here. You can see it's kind of messy, but this is coming along quite a lot faster than I thought it would, at least for the track part. And then once the track's all laid and wired, then we're going to start in earnest on building kits and 3D printing buildings and stuff. I was very fortunate to find a Kickstarter that has a bunch of apartment buildings and things, a theater, a store, and I got to get my big printer out of its box and get it set up, and then I can start printing those buildings. I'm gonna have to monkey around a bit with it because they're not in the scale, they're not in N scale originally, so I'm gonna have to play with them and get them into N scale. So anyways, again, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing costs you nothing. And if you ring the bell that comes up when you subscribe, you will get notifications of when I bring out my next video. Usually shoot on a Thursday. This is Thursday afternoon here in Northern Ontario, and usually they're out late Thursday, early Friday morning. So once again, thank you, and I will see you next week.